Hi everyone, this is a quick behind-the-scenes tour of the Wildwood 2020 wall calendar. The calendar starts out with one of my favorite photos of the entire calendar from Mariners Landing Pier. I remember walking around the pier and it was the end of a beautiful beach day and the sky was beautiful colors and the swing ride was lit up, and this photo just represents how much fun a night on the boardwalk is. Getting up early is definitely not one of my most favorite things to do, but when in Wildwood, it's totally worth it for the beautiful sunrises. This photo is taken in North Wildwood by Anglesey and the seawall area, and it's really hard to capture how nice a Wildwood sunrise is, but I think this photo does a pretty good job at capturing all the individual elements that make it so special. This photo was taken early one morning, as you can tell, because there's nobody quite around yet. And what I love so much about this photo is that it feels like you got a front row seat in your beach chair to the ocean, and you get to enjoy just how beautiful and peaceful the ocean is in the Wildwoods. And it was just a beautiful, not a cloud in the sky kind of day. I was walking down the beach one day, mostly distracted by how nice the ocean was, but I turned around and I saw how nice and clear the day was and how nice the Ferris Wheel looked and all of Mariners Landing, and I really wanted to include this photo because everybody loves the Ferris Wheel. It's one of the most iconic sights of the Wildwoods. You can see it coming in from the highway, so it's often the first thing you see when you are coming into the Wildwoods, and I just remember as a kid being so excited to see that and knowing that we're finally getting to the Wildwoods and we're about to have a great time. There's nothing quite like a beautiful early morning on the beach in the Wildwoods. Just walking along, there's not too many people, it's usually a nice temperature, not too humid yet. And this was just kind of one of those scenes that captured that moment. This photo is from Maury's Surfside Pier, and I just love it. It's got so much depth to it. You can see how the clouds in the sky and the blueness of the sky make for a really, really nice backdrop. And then in the foreground, you have the carousel, which everybody loves, and you can kind of see just all the rides going back, which I really enjoy about this photograph. I think many of you will recognize this scene, especially if you walk the seawall that runs through North Wildwood and Anglesey area. This is at the northernmost end, and right to the right of this is where there's a pavilion where many people spend time kind of sitting and enjoying the ocean. It's actually maybe the closest spot you can get to the ocean without actually going on the beach. Just because of how the pathway and the road come right up to the corner there on the right. So it's a popular spot for a lot of people, and for good reason. It's always a beautiful sight and place to hang out. In my opinion, sunset is a must-do when in the Wildwoods because every sunset is unique, it's gorgeous, and if you miss a sunset, you don't know what you're missing because everyone is a little bit different and beautiful in its own way. I try to catch as many sunsets as I can when in the Wildwoods, and this was taken down in the Crest, and I finally got a nice camera after all these years and was able to take a long exposure, which helped make the water look really calm and reflect just how beautiful the colors were coming from the sky. And I just love how peaceful and beautiful this scene is. This is June's photo, and I just love it because it's the sea serpent on Mariners Landing Pier, and it just really represents and captures just how much fun a day in the Wildwoods is, and therefore I love it, and I couldn't resist including this one in the 2020 calendar. I think many of you will recognize this ride. Last time I checked, it's the most popular ride on all of the boardwalk, and that is the Great White on Maury's Adventure Pier. And I got this shot kind of low to the ground so you can see that textured sand in the foreground from the early morning raking of the beach, and I really like the striation of clouds coming through the sky that make for a really beautiful texture. And the roller coaster itself is just a nice looking ride, and I actually really like that little burst of color from the storage boxes at the foot of the roller coaster there. Adds a nice little different element to the photo. December's photo was literally the last photo I picked for the calendar, and I think it really represents well, like, it's the end of the year, let's get ready for 2021, let's look forward, we've enjoyed what we've had, but now let's get a move on to what's ahead. And I really like this photo for that reason. I think it fills that role very well. And I think it's a very nice send-off for this year's calendar. So that is the tour of the Wildwood 2020 wall calendar, which was so much fun to put together. And I just want to say thanks so much to everyone who's thinking about getting one. And of course to the many people who have supported the calendar in years past. Really appreciate it. What makes it all worthwhile, there's hundreds and thousands of photos and countless hours that kind of go into the process of putting together this calendar each year. And what makes it worth it is knowing how much everyone looks forward to it each and every year. So really appreciate your support and your interest, and for you sticking around and watching this tour. The calendar is now available at wildwoodpizzatour.com/shop. So thanks so much for sticking around, and have a great rest of your day. We'll see you in 2020.